of the 2012 Fall College Sailing Season. I'm Jane Macky and glad to be back with you after the Sandy Frankenstorm blackout.
And I'm Chris Love. Good to have you back, Jane.
US Sailing has shown its support for college sailing through the sponsorship of this show, through the great weekly prize giveaways we do each week, and through the college membership program. Show your appreciation and investment by going over to ussailing.org/college and signing up for your membership today.
You see, you get a whole bunch of great benefits in addition to all the standard benefits of a US Sailing membership. But it's way cheaper and is good for 4 years, regardless of what year you graduate.
Now for this week's prize, it's a Vineyard Vines tie and belt set. And the winner is...
This week's winner, John Olson from University of San Diego. Congratulations. And for next week's prize, we've got your choice of side or front zip life jackets from Gill. And yes, they're U.S. Coast Guard approved. Go to ussailing.org, click Racing, then College to sign up for all the drawings for the rest of the season.
Moving on to this weekend's review, we had both of the big Singlehanded Championships. It's the Laser Performance ICSA Singlehanded Champs. For the men's, you'll remember if you were watching last week that Eric and Chris had a hard time battling over who would be the winner out of Juan Magley and Chris Barnard. Now, it seems like they had good reason to, because Chris Barnard led the regatta, the first 8 races, and it was only after that point that Juan came in and took a narrow lead moving forward from there.
Yeah, only in the last 4 races of the regatta did Magley really pull away with this. He had a perfect score, picket fence. Throughout the regatta, Magley sailed incredibly consistently, with his worst score being a 7th in the opening race, and after that only 1 finish outside the top 3, which was a 4th in race 6. And for the Laser Performance ICSA Women's Single-Handeds, how about that Erica Reinecke?
Chris, 15 bullets out of 18 races? That's ridiculous.
It really is, but you know, she's an incredibly dedicated and talented laser radial sailor, and it's just, you know, at this point in her career, just leaps and bounds above the rest of the competition. So she adds this title to a long list of other achievements, but still a nice birthday present for this young eagle. Erica turned 19 on Sunday.
Thanks to GTS Photos for the awesome photos. This keeps Chris in the lead with the predictions, and it looks like Eric and I are really going to have to work on our game here.
Well, it's been 2 weeks. We've got the new Sailing World rankings out, and so for that we check in with our pal, Meredith Powlison.
Hey Chris, how are you?
Good, good.
Yeah, I've got new rankings for you this week. And in the Coed rankings, we haven't seen too many changes, just a little bit of shuffling. Bowdoin moved up from the also receiving boats section into the top 20 this week. And also Washington College is right on the cusp of the top 20. They got 18 points in the also receiving boats section. In the women's rankings, it's a pretty close race. Yale holds on to the top spot, but just barely. Dartmouth has 8 first place votes, which moves them into 2nd place, right ahead of BC. They're just 4 points ahead of BC, so really close there. We also see 2 new teams in the top 15 this week. MIT moves up to 11th, and Coast Guard moves up to 13th.
So no real change on the Coed, and then the women's, it looks like everybody just kind of followed the results from the urn, but interesting to see the way those first place votes are spread out.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens this weekend.
All right, thanks Meredith, and we'll see you back here in 2 weeks.
Yep, I'll be back in 2 weeks, and don't forget about our college sailing photo contest either. We got $500 on the line for the best road trip photo, and you can go to sailingworld.com/college sailing photo contest to find out more. See you next week.
All right, see ya.
Thank you, Meredith. Now, moving on to this weekend's regatta. Now, we're really winding down the season here, and this is scheduled to be one of the biggest weekends for the fall, or even for the year of sailing, from college sailing.
It was scheduled to be, but it looks like it's not to be the case this year, at least for the co-eds. If you're on the ICSA email list, you got an email late Sunday, early Monday morning that said ACCs could not be sailed at Kings Point as scheduled, and so it would be moved to the U.S. Naval Academy. But then later, Monday evening, another email from the list saying that ACCs for the co-eds has been canceled. And so for a little bit of explanation, we've got the person behind those emails, the ICSA Conference Commissioner, Danielle Richards. Well, welcome, Conference Commissioner Danielle. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me.
So give us a quick rundown here of what exactly transpired this week that led to the final decision to cancel ACCs.
Well, as you guys covered last week in your show, Hurricane Sandy obviously did a lot of damage on the East Coast. Kings Point was one of the areas especially hard hit. After getting in touch with their coaches over the weekend and their directors of the waterfront and all the powers to be, we decided that going to Kings Point wasn't going to be a prudent move for ICSA. Their boats are packed up and the infrastructure in the area just wasn't ready for us. We got in touch with all the affected teams. After several phone calls and meetings, we figured that Navy was probably going to be the best option. A turnkey venue, boats ready to go. They could pick it up on short notice. So Sunday night, it was determined that we would go there. Monday morning, I live in California and all those teams are back east. They had a head start on those emails. Woke up to quite a few. I'm not sure if I can do this. It's going to cost a lot of money. We'll be there, but to not cancel the regatta, but it's not going to be the right people, etc. Those went on during the day Monday. We had lots of phone calls back and forth. By mid-afternoon, it was apparent that this was going to be a struggle for multiple teams. So I got on the phone with a few of the conference leaders and ICSA President Mitch, discuss what the options were and what we felt was the fairest for all competitors. Fortunately, it came down to canceling the event for this year. It was just going to be too much of a struggle to make it happen on 4 days' notice. Everyone saw that email go out on Monday afternoon, and that's the background.
Definitely a shame to hear. I know in the email you said that team conferences were encouraged to schedule their top 9 regattas. Any idea if those teams that were scheduled are going to be doing something like that or sailing in any other regattas?
It's my understanding that NISA has scheduled a top 8 regatta, taking their ACC teams and doing a combined division event. I don't think Mesa and CESA have done something to that event. We've opened up extra berths at the ACTs at St. Mary's. That's a 16-team event normally, and they can take 18s. So we've got anyone that was interested to go there. Only Charleston has taken up that offer. I think a lot of the kids might just be going home to help out their families.
Okay, well, a tough end to the dinghy season, but obviously a little bit out of our hands and the hands of ICSA as well. Thanks so much for the in-depth explanation.
Welcome, Chris.
And we'll see you around. Thanks.
Yep.
Now, Chris, if this is the worst effect of Sandy on college sailing, then I think we're pretty lucky. But it is a huge bummer not to be able to see the best of these ACC Atlantic Coast teams match up against each other in the fall before moving into this significantly sort of different sailing season that we see in the spring where everyone is moving over into the team racing. So I am definitely a bit bummed, as I'm sure a lot of teams are too.
Certainly disappointing. But we do have other regattas this weekend, one in a place that rarely sees any bad weather at all. The Fall Pacific Coast Championship is going to be hosted by UC Santa Barbara. And a great turnout here, 24 teams registered. Now, as we usually see on the West Coast, Stanford is really a powerhouse and is favored to win. But look for other top contenders, Hawaii, UCSB, and UW, as well as a few others to shake things up and make a go at it.
Now with the ACCs really as the kicker this weekend, we are sad Coeds aren't going to get to match up, but we haven't had the opportunity to shine a light on the women's so much this season, so we're going to take the opportunity to do so right now. So for the women's ACCs, we're moving up to Con College, racing on the river, which is always interesting. Looking at the forecast, it's supposed to be reasonably light and good sort of temperatures in the 50s, which is very nice considering that it is starting to get really cold in the Northeast. We also have another storm this Wednesday, Thursday of this week, but it does look like it should be passed through by the week.
So here's the lineup in order of qualifying for ACCs. You know, looking back at the season, we look for opportunities where we can see these teams head to head, and there's only a few opportunities. There's the Yale Interconference, the Navy Fall, which is a 3-division event, so that's a little tricky, the Mrs. Hurst, and then the Stu Nelson, but that's really just a NISA event. I think looking at the top of this list, NISA is looking especially strong this year. Dartmouth, Yale, and BC all have a shot to win it, in my opinion. Outside of NISA, I'm looking at Navy to be a contender here, given their record as well. Now these Navy women's results are a little bit of a wild card with the radial and C division, but if you do look at the top 4 out of 5 spots, go to non-NISA teams. Now granted, Dartmouth and BC aren't there, so it's kind of tough. In addition, you know, Charleston, St. Mary's, and Georgetown, they've been knocking on the door all season, but I really don't see them breaking into the top 3. So who is going to take this championship? BC's looking pretty good. Erica Reinecke having a very impressive season. We'll see if Steph Hudson can get it done in A division. Navy has 2 very solid skippers in Mary Hall and Marissa Lehan, so we'll see what they can do. And then there's Yale. They're going to be the only team on this list that returns all of their skippers from last year's championship squad. That's Claire Dennis, Marlena Fowler, Morgan Kiss, Emily Billing, and all of their crews. So I think on paper anyway, Yale is definitely going to be the favorite to win this year's champs.
Chris, they are definitely a solid team, but every time I seem to pick them, they don't win, and every time I don't pick them, they do seem to win. I hope that my luck might change this week, because I think I'm going to back them again for my prediction at the ACCs. They have had a string of second places this season at the Earn, at the Yale Women's, also at Navy Fall. I do think they have the chops to make it into the top spot this weekend.
For my prediction, I'm taking Dartmouth. They've got Deirdre Lambert sailing A division. She was last year's ACC Women's Champion in B division, but she's been having a great season so far. And in her place for B division, they've got Kelsey Wheeler, who's also performed really well this season. And I think they're going to obviously have a very tight battle with Yale all the way through. It's not going to be easy, but I just think Dartmouth has a bit of a fire under their belly this season, and I'm giving them the win. Eric is also picking Dartmouth.
So in the wind down of the full college sailing season of 2012, we'll be back next week to recap on these ACCs and also previewing the match racing champs that are going to be our last regatta of the full sailing season. So thank you all for watching. Join us back next week, same time, same place, for those recaps, weekly prize giveaways, and good luck to everyone sailing this weekend.
Thanks for watching. Sail fast.